From facing the legendary Claudio Silva in 2014 to beating Nate Diaz in the UFC 263, Leon Edwards has had one hell of a career in the UFC. But what do we really know about his personal life? Let's take a deep dive into his family. The iconic MMA fighter lost his dad at the young age of 14. Leon was only 14 when his father passed away. That's pretty tragic. Though he's currently living in the United Kingdom, Edwards is from the largest city in Jamaica, Kingston. When he was younger, he lived in a poor country with his family, and he grew up in a town where lawlessness and crime were rampant. Reports say that Leon's dad was involved in some questionable activity, which might be why he grew up in that town unharmed. But he probably witnessed a lot of crime and wrongdoings while growing up. That stuff really changes a person. In 2022, in an interview with ESPN journalist Mark Ramundi, Leon revealed that his father was killed by a gunshot in London when he was only 14. The family had moved to Aston in Birmingham, England when Leon was 9. This incident had a huge negative impact on Leon, who found himself drawn to a life of crime after it. He got into dealing, street fighting, and even possessed a knife at one point. Luckily, his mother was able to pull him out of that daredevil lifestyle by getting him to join an MMA club when he was 17. In the interview, when Leon said that his dad was murdered, it had something to do with money. He didn't know the exact details, but he called it some mad shit. He knew it might happen. It's pretty sad that he saw his dad's death coming. But I'm sure if he was alive, he'd be pretty proud of his son. Leon started martial arts training when he was 17, and that's when he got his famous nickname, Rocky. But there's a whole story behind it. It was in the same interview with ESPN that Leon revealed the origins of his famed nickname. He grew up in Aston in a neighborhood that was infested head to toe with crime, and found himself a part of gangs at an early age just to survive. He had to fight to keep himself and his friends safe, and this was what urged his friends to give him the nickname Rocky. Leon Edwards said that he fought to defend his friends and to intimidate others, and because of beefs that he'd gotten himself into. According to him, he fought all the time. That's why he got the nickname Rocky. He got it from school way before he got into the world of mixed martial arts. But his path to MMA came out of nowhere. You see, Rocky's MMA journey started when his mom enrolled him in a gym when he was only 17. The place was called Ultimate Training Center and was located in Erdington. Leon was pretty thankful to his mom for making him join the gym, which ultimately saved him from picking a life of crime. According to Edwards, he and his mother were once taking a stroll down Erdington when they came across a gym that was being built. The gym was going to train MMA fighters, and his mom wanted him to join so he could get off the streets. Well, it looked like it worked, because Rocky has definitely created a name for himself in the world of MMA. Looking at his fights, you'd think Leon was married to the job. He fights with such dedication and passion that it's pretty obvious he's in love with mixed martial arts. But did he ever find love outside of MMA? I mean, there isn't much known about his life outside of the MMA. Reports say that he has a girlfriend, but Leon has always kept her identity a secret, probably to allow her some privacy. It can be pretty hard having your relationship in the spotlight. What I do know is that Leon has a 7-year-old named Gian Edwards. Now, Leon had a pretty tough childhood, so he's promised to give his son a safe and comfortable life, one that he unfortunately never had. That's pretty wholesome. I knew he'd be a pretty loving dad. It just goes to show that Rocky has become a better person and is determined to move past his dark days. Good for him. I'm happy for Leon. Plus, did you know he also has a brother who's following in his footsteps? That's right. Leon's younger brother, Fabian Edwards, is also an MMA fighter.
High drama, and Fabian Edwards moves up in the world with a stunning stoppage.
He's a mixed martial artist for Bellator MMA. Fabian Edwards fights in the middleweight division of MMA. He was born in 1993 and is extremely supportive of his older brother. He almost hero worships him. Fabian can be seen with Leon every time the older brother has a fight coming up. It's only a matter of time until he makes it to the UFC, because he's done pretty well for himself in Bellator. In fact, he's done so well that he's received the brutal nickname The Assassin. The younger Edwards brother had his first pro MMA fight against Rafal Sidrowski, and he won. He beat the British fighter with a flying knee in the very first round. Go Fabian! As of right now, he has a record of 10-2, and if he keeps up his winning streak, it won't be long before he joins Leon in the UFC. That'd be pretty exciting. Before fighting in the UFC, Leon too fought in other MMA promotions, like the Fight UK MMA and the BA MMA. In fact, he was even the BA MMA welterweight champion in the latter. He made his debut in the UFC in 2014. Leon was pitted against Claudio Silva at UFC Fight Night Shogun versus St. Preux. Though he lost the fight, this was only the beginning of his legendary career. As of right now, Rocky is competing in the welterweight division in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, and he currently holds the title of the UFC welterweight champion. He's considered one of the top fighters in the world due to his all-rounder abilities, though he had a rocky career in the beginning. Leon has worked pretty hard to make it to the top. He focused on his takedown defense and has improved his grappling skills a lot. He fought against Damian Zlotnicki in his pro MMA debut in 2011. He won in the first round by a technical KO. That's pretty impressive, especially for his first fight. He suffered his first defeat in his career in the third fight he fought. He was pitted against Delroy McDowell. Edwards was disqualified in that match for landing an illegal knee, which was pretty unfortunate. But Leon turned it around by winning 6 fights in a row before joining the UFC in 2014. It was kind of sad when he lost his first fight in the UFC against Claudio Silva via a simple split decision, but he didn't let adversity get him down. He went on to beat Pavel Polak and Seth Baczynski in consecutive fights. He beat Polak via a unanimous decision and straight up knocked out Seth. It was in his 4th fight that he suffered a devastating loss. It was a hit to his whole career. It was in a fight against Kamaru Usman, and Leon couldn't beat the mixed martial artist's brilliant grappling skills. But he learned his lesson from that one fight, and then went on to win 10 fights one after another. During this unbeaten streak, he won against Nate Diaz, Donald Cerrone, and Rafael dos Anjos. Over the years, Edwards has established himself to be one of the biggest MMA stars in the UK MMA scene. That's all for the most iconic MMA fighter of all time.